Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are on. Yes, we are a couple of minutes early, but don't worry about it. The crux of this live stream have been. We're going to talk about some wild things today, guys. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about an interview that I saw on the Alex Jones show. Now, this lady, I think her name's Elizabeth Lane. She's talking. She's a Russian, and she's talking about how she. Well, I'll share you guys the video later. The nuclear rhetoric, the nuclear threats toward the United Kingdom from the Russians. Now, look, I've been quite clear, and I want to say this from the get-go. I've not changed my stance. What I've always said is what I believe. I don't think nuclear weapons are ever going to be used again. In combat, basically. I don't think they're ever going to be used. I'm not going back on that. However, I could be wrong. So I think it was yesterday. There was an interview with this lady, and she's come out and she said that if Putin gets taken out and another hardliner steps up in the place of Putin, then what she's saying is this lady, in fact, let me put the chat on. She's saying this lady, Elizabeth Stone or whatever her name is, she's saying that she would nuke England out of their existence. They're not my words, guys. They're not my words. They're her words. I will share the video with you guys in a minute, but the real world dynamics, and the world has been, the mainstream media has been especially in the United Kingdom, has been absolutely silent about this. Russia has deployed their hypersonic ORSHNIK missile in Belarus amid Europe tensions. So what that means basically now is London, the United Kingdom, is within about 15 minutes top end, 10 minutes low end, between 10 and 15 minutes. The United Kingdom is within striking distance. Now, think about this, guys, all right? Just think about this. Consider this for 1 second, right? This missile gets launched from Belarus, right? Gets launched in Belarus. United Kingdom, we'll track that with our satellites, with our radar. We've got 15 minutes max. We've got 15 minutes max to deal with that, right? So, say 2 minutes, you don't know where that trajectory is going. So it goes up, it's swizzing around or whatever. You're like, right, where's this thing going? And then maybe after 3 minutes, you're like, yeah, that's coming to the United Kingdom. There's no way. The altitude, the speed, the trajectory, yeah, this is coming to the United Kingdom. You're probably going to get a message on your phone, and you're going to have 10 minutes. You literally, like, that's best. That is the best case scenario. You've got 10 minutes. What are you going to do? Literally, what are you going to do right now? Imagine you get the message on your phone right now. And I'm not meaning to scare anyone. I will share these links in a second. You literally have 10 minutes on your phone. You get a message off the, the government's, whatever it is, the text message thing. The United Kingdom may come under sustained missile attack from nuclear weapons. You have 10 minutes to react or something like that. What are you going to do? Because they're the times we're talking about now. They are literally the times we're talking about. I will share all these things with you later. What else have we got? We've got, do you need to be born in Britain to be British? Now, when I was watching this video, the guy who was on this video, I actually thought this was satire. So he's saying, do you actually need to be born in Britain to be British? Now, I'm going to flip that. And I'm also going to share with you guys a Russell Brand video. Now, this Russell, I do like Russell Brand. I do. I think he's fantastic. I'm going to share with you guys a Russell Brand video because he absolutely hits the nail on the head, and nobody else of his platform, nobody else of his, apart from me, obviously, nobody else has, nobody else has hit these points that Russell Brand's hit. So I will be sharing all that with you guys. But the crux of this live stream is England will be nuked out of their existence. That's the reality. That's what people are saying. World War III, they want to make Europe pay, and the ORSHNIK missile system has been deployed. That's the reality, right? That's the reality on the ground right now. So as always, guys, what you guys on TikTok, I will be closing you guys down. I will be closing you guys down shortly. And I will just be streaming on YouTube. Anyway, let's just get on with this, guys. And if you've not noticed, if you guys have not noticed, can you see? You guys on YouTube, can you see? Like last night in here, it was absolutely Baltic. We've got some heat in here now. We've got our own heating system. Anyway, excuse me. Right, let me just get on. Oh yeah, and there's just been a weather warning as well. And I'll do the weather warning at the end as well. Right, so let's just get on to this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just get on to this. So, where do we start? Let's start at the beginning. So, Russia has issued multiple nuclear threats directed at or implicated the United Kingdom since its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. And I'll list these in a minute. These threats form part of a broader pattern of nuclear saber-rattling aimed at deterring Western military support for Ukraine, including arms supplies from the United Kingdom, such as Challenger tanks, Storm Shadow missiles, and depleted uranium ammunition. So for those guys who don't know, depleted uranium ammunition, that is depleted uranium from nuclear reactors, and that's really dense, and that punches holes through, really punches holes through steel. Russian officials, including President Vladimir Putin and former President Dmitry Medvedev, have repeatedly invoked nuclear capabilities to underscore potential escalation, often framing them as a response to perceived NATO aggression. And look, guys, I totally understand that some of you guys in the chat, you're thinking, oh, it's NATO. I get it. Right, there's a lot of different angles at this, at this conflict. Unfortunately, I'll say what I always say: none of it matters. No, I promise you. You know when you get that message on your phone, right? You know when you get the message on your phone. I don't know. You have 10 minutes before there's a nuclear weapon striking the United Kingdom. You know when, look, guys, it's total hypothetical, right? Total hypothetical. But imagine you get that message on your phone, right? Totally hypothetical for entertainment purposes. Imagine you get that message on your phone, right? Are you going to say, well, actually, right, this has nothing to do with me because this is NATO expansionist and I didn't agree with NATO expansionism, so I'll be... No, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. And I say this quite a lot. We are very soon going to get to a point where none of this is going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is we're in a conflict and we need to win. Unfortunately, I agree with a lot of you. We don't need to be in this conflict. Nobody needs to be in any conflict. We should be building spaceships, not tanks. Let me continue. Sorry. So the threats have escalated in frequency and especially amid ongoing battlefield... What was the word I'm looking for? Ongoing battlefield. I don't want to use setbacks. Stagnations. Ongoing battlefield stagnations in Ukraine, with recent developments centering on the ORSHNIK missile system, the hypersonic missile system unveiled by Putin in October 2024 as a unique weapon with no global analogues. Now, this weapon system can carry nuclear or conventional warheads. It reaches speeds of Mach 10 and strikes targets up to 5,500 kilometers away. It was first combat tested against Ukraine. There was a military site in Dnipro. I think the site was called Yuzmashi. It's real funny, actually. If you know the company Yuzmashi, they build tractors and rockets. It's typical Ukrainian company, right? Yes, we build tractor and rocket for NASA as well. We build tractor in this side and we build rocket in this side. Sometimes our engineers cross over. Yeah, I think that was the company, Uzmashi. They built, go search them, guys. I don't know how to spell it. Uzmashi. They build tractors and rockets. And when you go onto their website, there's literally, you click on their website and there's a picture of a rocket. It looks like the rocket picture on their website looks like, it's probably like one of the worst JPEGs you could get. There's a rocket and a tractor. You click the rocket and you go to the rocket website, and you click the tractor, you go to the tractor website. Anyway, sorry, side quest averted. So that was the first real attack. Now, this was in retaliation of for Ukraine's use of Western-supplied long-range missiles, i.e. Storm Shadow missiles, on Russian territory. Russia updated their nuclear doctrine approved by Putin on November the 19th, 2024, which lowered the threshold for nuclear use, allowing responses to conventional attacks if supported by a nuclear-armed state, i.e. the United Kingdom. Most recently, this is where everybody needs to start. Like right now, this is where you need to start thinking. Okay, right, what am I going to do in that 10 minutes? Okay, so most recently, as of yesterday, Belarusian state media showcased the deployment of the said ORSHNIK missile system on Belarusian soil, following an agreement, with Russia. To have these missiles on bases in Belarus. The missile could reach London in as little as 10 to 15 minutes. Think about that, guys, all right? Literally think about that. Like, best case scenario, you're going to have 10 minutes. Literally, best case scenario, you're going to have 10 minutes to react. That's the maths. You can argue with me as much as you want. Totally argue with me. But you're going to have 10 minutes. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you've got 5. So what are you going to do in those 5 minutes? There was this plane, right? There was this plane, and it was crashing, right? It was crashing, and the pilot came over the tannoy, and there was a plane and it was crashing, right? I can't remember where it was. The pilot was, he said, brace, we're going to crash. And there was a man standing outside the toilet. He's like, oh my God, what do I do? And a woman came up to him. She said, quick, make me feel like a woman. So he took his shirt off and he said, I am that. Anyway, what are you going to do if you get that 15-minute text message? So, the United Kingdom has been placed squarely in ORSHNIK's range, as well as other excuse me, European capitals, i.e. Berlin, Paris, literally all of them. All the European capitals are now in the range of this ORSHNIK weapon system. This deployment is viewed by Western analysts as a direct escalation of nuclear posturing, which it is, there's no denying it, underscoring Russia's resilience on asymmetric threats amid conventional military strains. Now, I kind of go against that because I don't think the Russians are under conventional military strains at all. I think they're moving forwards. They're doing exactly what the Russians do. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it's difficult, but that's how the Russians work. Listen, guys, if you're joining for the first time, we are talking. I should probably show the video first. We are talking about the threats to totally nuke England out of existence. That's what people are saying, and I will share this video with you guys very shortly. So, I'll share it with you guys now. I'll share the video with you guys now, and then I will go on to a chronological events of nuclear threats where the Russians have threatened the United Kingdom, like either directly or indirectly. But first, let me share this video with you fantastic people. Right, let me jump up here. Where are we? That one. For you guys on TikTok, you guys may just be able to hear the audio. So this is from the Alex Jones show yesterday, all right? Okay, before I share the video, take the video with a pinch of salt, right? Take the video with a pinch of salt, but what it shows you is a glimpse into, and I said this quite a few times, it gives you a glimpse into, I need to be careful while I'm on TikTok. Oh God, I can't say anything while I'm on TikTok. It gives you, right, this video will give you a glimpse into an alternate opinion. Am I still on? Yeah, I don't think I can get banned for that. So let me share this.
When you talk about Russian hardliners, I've seen the studies.
Yeah.
What type would we get if they kill Putin?
So Alex Jones is asking this woman, what would we get in Putin's place if somebody took out Putin? You know, if somebody took Putin to the candy shop and had him spending all they got.
Oh, then you will get a hardliner. And that's not going to be fun at all. Putin is a very moderate person. I think he exercises.
No, I agree. So what's a hardliner look like now?
Hardliner looks like someone like me, for example. Like I always say, if I was Putin and I was in charge of Russia right now, I shouldn't say this, but England would be nuked out of their existence. I'm not joking.
So she's saying that England, if it was up to her, England would be nuked out of their existence. Now, whether you believe this as just, you know, clickbait or fanning the flames, what this gives you as an insight into an alternate opinion, right? An alternate opinion. So that's what the woman's saying. Let me just rewind this real quick.
Get if they kill Putin.
Oh, then you will get a hardliner. And that's not going to be fun at all. Putin is a very moderate person. I think he exercises.
No, I agree. So what's a hardliner look like now?
Hardliner looks like someone like me, for example. Like I always say, if I was Putin and I was in charge of Russia right now, I shouldn't say this, but England would be nuked out of their existence. I'm not joking.
Yeah, that's mad. You can't.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody does.
I know. But here's the thing, though. This is what you're going to get when you keep pushing. Because here's the option, Alex. You remember World War II? You remember World War II and 27 million that Russians lost? Mm-hmm. Well, the option is sizzle this for another 8 years and lose another million of Russian people, or end it now with the ORSHNIK. And
so did you hear that? She's mentioning this weapon system, ORSHNIK. Obviously, she knows how to pronounce it. She's Russian. ORSHNIK. I've been pronouncing it ORSHNIK. You know, obviously, she's right, not me. But what she's saying there is, end this now with ORSHNIK, which is the long-range missile system, well, medium-range missile system, that here in the United Kingdom, we would only have, best case scenario, we would have 10 minutes. From my Raven maths, we would have 10 minutes. Because what they're saying is this ORSHNIK, I think I pronounced that right. So I do apologize if anybody's Russian there and I'm destroying that pronunciation of that word. I don't mean to. What she's saying is this missile system can reach the United Kingdom from where it is now in Belarus in around 15 minutes, which gives us, if we're lucky, 10 minutes notice to do something. I.e., and this is what I think you would get, guys. I promise you, this is what I think you would get. I think about it, right? They launched the missile, yeah, from the launch pad or whatever, right? And you're like, oh, Jesus, they've launched one. Where's it going? Where's it going? Then it has to go up, right? And you're like, right, okay, which way is it going to go? Which way is it going to go? Maybe that's 30 seconds, right? And then it starts to move. I don't know. I'm totally making this up. But you guys can see where I'm going, right? So it's going to launch. It's going to get to an altitude. And I do think 30 seconds is about fair. So at 30 seconds, maybe a minute, it's going to start to tilt. It's going to change its trajectory, right? And then they're going to go, oh, right, okay. Oh, it's coming towards Europe. Oh, okay, it's coming towards Europe. And then they're going to have to look and they're going to have to say, right, okay, well, it's still gaining altitude at that trajectory. That's coming straight for the United Kingdom. It's straight for, I don't think they'll be able to gauge it at that point. But what I'm saying is, by the time all that's happened, clearly we're going to be able to track that on satellites. But by the time all that's happened, and somebody's gone into the office, the control office, and sent the message to, I don't know, whoever does the mobile phone emergency alerts, right? Yeah, send alert 1 or whatever it is. And then for that message then to get sent out, best case scenario, literally, guys, best case scenario, I think you're going to have 10 minutes.
And make Europeans pay. What would you do as Alex?
So she's saying we need to use ORSHNIK and make the Europeans pay. Again, look, guys, if you want to take this one with a pinch of salt, that's fine. I kind of do as well. But what you need to understand is the rhetoric, I've got to be careful while I'm on TikTok. What you've got to understand is the diverse opinions. You've got to understand the diverse opinions. And I don't think I can get banned for saying diverse opinions on TikTok.
Jones, what would you do? I know it sounds crazy, but what would you do? Kill your own million and seize
Yeah, but see, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but that's an emotional response.
It is.
And is it me or is Alex Jones dressed up? I don't know, guys. Is it me or is Alex Jones dressed up? I don't know. I don't know if there's something going on between these two. But it does look like Alex Jones is dressed up. I mean, he's looking suave. I'm not going to lie. He's looking suave.
And that's what you're going to get. If
you understand every war game, as soon as even you can't hit one country, then everybody's going to hit you, and then
right. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. I might play that first bit. I might play that first bit later on. I'll get some chat now, guys. I'll get some chat on YouTube, and then I will. In fact, you know what? I'm not gonna get any chat on YouTube. I'm gonna go straight to. I'm going to give you guys a chronological order of the times that Russia have threatened the United Kingdom using nuclear weapons. I'm going to try and rattle through these as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and rattle through these as quickly as possible. So these are documented. So what I'm going to give you now are all documented statements. These are all on the mainstream media. They're all reports. They're all documented. I'm not saying, oh, somebody might have said this behind closed. No, I'm telling you what's being said publicly, right? So February 27th, 2022, Putin places Russia's nuclear forces on special combat readiness in response to Western sanctions and statements warning of unprecedented consequences for interference. Can you guys remember that? We forget how far we've come. April 27th, 2022, Russian state media simulates a nuclear strike on the United Kingdom, claiming a Sarmat missile could reach London in 200 seconds and turn enemies into radioactive dust. The presenter adds that a Poseidon torpedo could drown Britain in a radioactive tsunami. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be drowned in a radioactive tsunami. I'm good. Do you know what? I'm going to put it out there. I don't want to be drowned in any tsunami. Least the radioactive one. Can you believe it? What's coming? It's a tsunami. Is it a radioactive one? I don't know. We don't want a radioactive tsunami, and we don't want a tsunami of any magnitude of radioactivity. September the 21st, 2022, Sergei Makarov warns that UK cities could be targeted with nuclear weapons if Britain continues to be the aggressor in Ukraine. Putin echoes this broadly, stating Russia would use all means to defend its territory. And he said, this is not a bluff. We are not bluffing. March 2023, Putin announces tactical weapon deployment to Belarus, explicitly linking it to the United Kingdom's supply of depleted uranium shells to Ukraine. Look, guys, there's quite a few, and I am going to go through all of them because there's been a lot of nuclear buildup. Now, I will share the article with you guys on YouTube in a minute. Where the Russians have now put their, ORSHNIK? Oh, I'm going to call it ORSHNIK because I think it's pronounced ORSHNIK. Whatever. She was right. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but let's just deal with it, okay? So tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus. February 2024, Dmitry Medvedev threatens nuclear strikes on Washington, Berlin, and Kiev if Russia is forced to retreat from occupied Ukrainian territories. May 2024, Medvedev warns again of attacks on European capitals if Western troops enter Ukraine. you know, like it's quite clear that that's a thing now, right? It's quite clear. We know that Western troops are in Ukraine because they've started to come back in body bags. September 24, Putin warns the West, including the United Kingdom, that allowing Ukraine to strike targets inside Russia, and this is so absurd, could lead to direct conflict with NATO and involvement of nuclear weapons. Again, some of these things are so absurd. Yes, we are allowed to strike Ukraine with our long-range weapons from Russia, but it is not permitted for Ukrainians to strike Russia. Oh, we won't get out of jail card, yes? So, look, guys, let me continue. November 2024, Russia approves the lowering of the nuclear threshold doctrine, enabling the Russians to respond with a nuclear weapon to conventional attacks if they're backed by a nuclear state. Also, Putin tests the ORSHNIK weapon system in Ukraine, warning it's a signal to the West. At that time, what's his name? Lukashenko, what's his name? What's his first name? Lukashenko. I can't remember his first name. The president of Belarus, basically. He hinted at a Belarus deployment of ORSHNIK. December 19th, 2025, we're jumping forward. Putin publicly threatens the UK and Europe with nuclear missile deployments amid heightened tensions over Ukraine support. December the 30th, literally yesterday, and this is the big one. This is the big one, all right? This is the money grabber. This is your money maker, right? Yesterday, Russia deploys nuclear-capable ORSHNIK missiles to Belarus, explicitly placing them within, I mean, all of Europe now is within striking distance of this weapon system. And look, like, if what we've seen it work, right? There is no stopping it. You can't stop it. Oh, we've got lasers. Yeah, they just stop. Lasers, your lasers can't track something moving that fast. But Sean, lasers move at the speed of light. Yeah, the lasers do. The lasers do, right? But you know the hydraulics that move the laser? They don't work at the speed of light, unfortunately. You know the radar that tracks the missile? Yeah, that actually does work at the speed of light. But the computer system that tells that where to move the hydraulics, oh, you need a little bit more pressure on this side, you need more pressure on this side, you need more pressure there, you need a little bit, like, that does not work at the speed of light, right? So when the laser, yes, the laser will move at the speed of light because it's a laser. The hydraulics that move that laser around, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, they are bound by physics. And physics clearly states that hydraulics cannot move faster than the speed of light for various reasons. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys on TikTok, you guys have been fantastic. I'm going to close you guys down on TikTok now. I'm going to continue this live stream over on YouTube for... maybe another hour, I don't know. Maybe another hour, about another hour. If you want to join over the conversation, if you want to join the party, and throw some comments in the chat. If you think what I'm saying is totally wrong and I'm getting everything wrong, please put it in the chat, put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it. But we are talking about the news that England would be nuked out of existence and Europe has to pay. Now, this comes as the Russians have deployed their new ORSHNIK missile system to Belarus, which is in striking distance of the United Kingdom. Best case scenario, if this happens, and I'll be quite clear, guys. I don't think a nuclear weapon's ever going to be used, right? I don't. And I'll probably give my reasons for that at the end of the live stream when I'm on YouTube, but I don't think a nuclear weapon's ever going to be used. If we do see one used, before it starts, we will see a series of tests. That has to happen because counter to popular belief, you can't just pull these things out of the cupboard and expect them to work. They need to be, they need to be refurbished. They need to be, a lot of the materials that are in these nuclear weapons, they have, they decay over time. So, it's not like you can just pull them out of the cupboard and expect them to work. Anyway, you guys on YouTube, I'm going to close you guys down. No, on TikTok, sorry. You guys on TikTok, I'm going to close you guys down now. Oh, that was a tongue twister. I'll be on for a little bit longer, maybe another hour on YouTube. I'm a Real Raven 1 on YouTube. And I welcome you over there, guys. And if not, I'll see you in the morning. And have a great new year. And have a great new year if I don't see you over on YouTube. Right, are we, I think we're off. Are we off? Are we off? I don't know if we're off. I think we're off. I think we're off. Are we off? Yes, we're off. Right. Let me take that down. Right, I can finally talk. I can finally talk. I've got heating. We've got heating today, guys. We've got heating, and it's not sub-zero temperatures in here tonight. We've got heating, and that is really nice. That's a really nice little heat. Right. So let me share this. I'll share this article. I'll come onto the chat, and then I'll go back to the article. Right. So this is the article. Russia deploys hypersonic ORSHNIK missile to Belarus amid Europe tensions. Moscow has positioned nuclear-capable hypersonic missiles in Belarus, drawing Western scrutiny as tensions rise in the war in Ukraine. I'm going to jump back onto that article in a minute, but I just, I wanted you guys to understand that I'm, what I'm talking about here, the headline, it's not, it's not, I'm not making these things up. These are real things that are really happening while we're all, oh, hang on a minute. John Scott has sent a super and he's saying, I'm not scared, Russian empty threats of nukes. I agree with you. I do think they're empty threats, but let's face it. Do we want to gamble? Do you want to gamble? I agree. So I agree with John Scott. I don't think a nuclear weapon's ever going to be used in a war. I don't think a nuclear weapon is ever going to be used again in a war. I really don't. Equally, I don't want to take that chance, right? I just don't want to take that chance because I might be wrong. And I've been wrong before. It was I think it was a Tuesday. Yeah, it was a Tuesday and I was wrong. What day is it today? It is a Wednesday today, so I guess we're good. Is it Wednesday? I don't know what day it is. Somebody just put, Sean, you look like Dracula. Should I take that as a compliment? I'm trying to go for the King of Men look. Right. Somebody said on the chat, I don't know who it was. I saw it flash up and then it went. Somebody said on the chat that why hasn't this made mainstream media or something? And absolutely, this to me should be making mainstream media. Like we just said, this weapon system it can fly at. I think they're claiming it can fly at Mach 10. And this is not one of the weapon systems that Putin says he has. And yes, we have weapons that you do not understand. He's literally used this. He's used this. He's used this weapon system. So best case scenario, you're literally going to get 10 minutes. Right. Let me get some comments on the chat. JK is saying with A2Z on his thumbnail, I don't know what that means. He's saying NATO reality check has bounced. You see, one of the things, and look, I will be quite clear. I'll keep repeating this. I don't think nuclear weapons are ever going to be used again. One of the things that NATO, like our blue team, one of the things that blue team did, they invested heavily in light infantry, special forces, being able to use manpower to achieve those goals. The Russians have clearly gone another way, and they have invested heavily in big weapons. Yes, we build big weapons. It does not matter about conscripts. We have big weapons. We can send big weapon to London in 10 minutes. Don't worry about United Kingdom. Lisa Claydon became a new member. Thank you, Lisa Claydon, for becoming a new member. And I know you will be a fantastic and powerful contributor to this channel. And I welcome you, and we welcome all the members. And we welcome everyone because everybody's welcome here. The members are a little bit more welcome. James Brooke is saying the secret Russian, sorry guys, the secret Russian radio station has been dormant for years. It's just started playing Swan Lake. They played this in the past when Russian leader dies or the fall of the, so the significance of Swan Lake in Russian culture is when things are changing, basically. When things are changing in Russian culture, Swan Lake is the music that is, associated with that. Eyeball Paul is saying, if the mainstream media start telling us Russia will hit in 5 minutes, just remember the weapons of mass destruction bullshit story. Can you give more context on that, mate? Eyeball Paul, can you give us more context on that, mate? I don't know what that means. If the mainstream media start telling us Russia will hit in 5 minutes, just remember, look, I don't think this is. I keep saying this, and I don't want to keep repeating myself. I don't think that there's going to be a situation where nuclear weapons are used. However, I wouldn't want to like bet my life on that. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't want to. But that's my speculation. What I'm saying is, can you imagine? Right? Imagine this missile goes up right in Belarus. It goes up in Belarus. I don't know, maybe 30 seconds, and then it starts to tilt and all the satellites are going, which way is it tilting? Which way is it tilting? Which way is it tilting? Which way is it moving? Because going up from Belarus to reach the altitude, maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I genuinely don't know, guys, how long it takes to put these things in deployment. But let's just say it goes up into the air and let's say it takes 30, 40, 45 seconds to get to altitude, right? It's at altitude. It then needs to turn right to point somewhere because still from that time, that missile could be going into Ukraine, right? So your first 45 seconds, call it a minute, that may be going into Ukraine, right? But then if it turns the other way or that way for you guys, it turns that way, like, oh, that's pointing towards Europe now. And you're like, right, okay, can you confirm it's pointing towards Europe? Because if you press that button, you're in a world of, if you press that button, we're under attack button, you are in, and you're in a world of hurt. It's a career ending move. So now the missile turns and then it starts to move. Let's just say best case scenario by 1 minute 30, and let's say we've got 15 minutes, right? Let's just say that by 1 minute 30, that trajectory is definitely heading for the United Kingdom. The altitude, the speed, the trajectory, they're like, yeah, well, this is definitely coming to the United Kingdom. It's going to fly over. It's going to fly over Poland, over like Germany, or it's going to fly over everywhere. And at that altitude, it looks like it's coming down in the United Kingdom, right? And let's say they know that at 1 minute 30. How long do you think it's going to take for whoever in whatever office to get a text message to your phone? Because that's what you're going to get. That is literally what you'll get. You will get a text message to your phone. The United Kingdom is potentially under nuclear attack. Do this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, okay, right. Like, what would you do? Because I can pretty much guarantee the advice that they give you on your phone isn't going to help you. And what I also say is most people won't believe it. They'll be like, yeah, that's not happening. Boom. I'm just going to jump down, guys. I'm just going to jump down and get some more comments. Marcus Scott is saying Putin has been defeated, so felt threatened, so he's going to fire back. I don't think Putin has been defeated. I really don't. He's moving forwards every day. He's moving forwards every day. Templar Millie is saying, I don't know what that means. Lisa Claydon is saying, I followed you on TikTok for like 3 years and you make sense, Sean. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much. Zombie Force is saying, don't jump in your cell or jump in the pool. It's safer. I don't know what that means, guys. I don't know what these questions mean. Right. Sean, can you actually read? I can read, yes, but sometimes I can't. Right. So, okay, look, guys, the crux of this live stream is, is what we've said, England nuked out of their existence. That's what the video said we were talking about. Now, this all comes as this Russia deploys the hypersonic missile ORSHNIK to Belarus amid European tensions. I'm reading off this article now, guys, okay? This should be on the mainstream in the United Kingdom. I don't know why it's not, right? Russia has released footage showing the deployment of its ORSHNIK hypersonic missile system in Belarus, a move that could strengthen Moscow's ability to strike Europe in a potential future conflict. The Russian state news media agency TASS reported on yesterday, that this marks the first public display of the mobile ORSHNIK system. Wow, I didn't even realize it was mobile. That's terrifying. President Putin has described the missile as impossible to intercept, which it is, citing speeds that are more than 10 times the speed of sound. If that thing's coming at you, your only defense, if that thing's coming at you, is what you're going to do afterwards, right? Because you can't stop it. You just need the bad guys to understand that, right, if you fire that at me, I'm going to fire a lot worse at you. The deployment in a country bordering NATO members and Ukraine comes amid heightened tensions over Russia's war in Ukraine. On Monday, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov alleged that Ukraine had launched an attack on Vladimir Putin's residence in Novgorod region in northwest Russia. Russia has threatened to retaliate against Ukraine after alleging that nearly 100 drones had targeted his home. Have you seen that footage? Like, has anyone seen the footage? It's so, like, I'm looking at this footage and I'm like, mate, that's AI. That is definitely AI. And we said this would happen, right? We, like, earlier, like, maybe a couple of weeks ago or whatever, I was on the live stream and I said to you guys, I said, look, we are at a point now where things will happen and we're going to be told it's AI. And then the counter to that, things will not happen and people will pretend they've happened and they will show you an AI video and, you won't know any difference. Luckily, the video, look, guys, and this is just my analysis, the video that we've been seeing of this attack on Putin's house, it really is ridiculous. Okay, let me try and find it. I'll try and find it and share. I will find it and I'll share it with you. Give me a second. And then I'll break this video down and I'll tell you guys what I think. Putin house attack. Spelt wrong. Totally spelled that wrong. Let's not worry about it. Right, here we are. Okay, so people are already putting that this is AI. Right, okay. Right. This is the video I've seen, right? Okay, so this is the video that's been circulated. I will share this. This is the video that was circulating. There's already a community notice. So there's a community notice on it saying it's AI, right? So I will share it and I'll tell you why I said that this was AI. Okay, so let me go back. Now, obviously, there has been a community notice on here saying that this is AI because this car's not leaving any tire tracks. I didn't notice that. I'll tell you why I thought this was AI. Okay, these drones here, these are basically hexacopters or quadcopters. They're not fixed wing. So these have like got, look at how they're moving, right? They've obviously got propellers in them and they're these type, right? Because these type can move around like that, which is fine. All right, this is fine. I mean, it looks so absurd, right? But you know, and the first thing I thought is, right, okay, not a chance in a million years did those drones with that 1 hour. So you know, these drones here, they have like a 1 hour. Some people may claim that they have longer than 1 hour flight time, but realistically, you're looking at like a 1 hour flight time, especially with the munitions these are carrying. And the munitions, the munitions that you would need to do that sort of attack, they would need to be a lot bigger. You know, the whole thing just looks fake. Now, I don't know where this video has come from. But yeah, there's clearly no tire tracks. I didn't even notice that. So, you know, the reason I'm sharing that video is because at some point, videos are going to get released and we are not going to know whether these videos are real or not, because AI is going to get, like, I could tell straight away from those drones. I was like, yeah, that's not what. If you're going to attack Putin's house with drones, you're going to have to use fixed wing. You're going to have to use these ones because those other ones don't have the range. They don't have the range, not in a million years. I mean, you could drop them from, I guess you could drop them from high altitude if you had like an, but then you know, you've got to think about what's capable with known physics. Mickey Ocean is saying it's kids playing with fireworks. The Global Hawk can fly longer. Yeah, so the Global Hawk, Predator drone, all those things can fly a lot longer, but they've got wings, right? They've got wings. They can glide through the air, so you don't need as much power to keep those things up. So anyway, right, let's continue. Right. Where do we want to go next? Should we go to right, I'm gonna go to Russell Brand. I'm gonna go to Russell Brand next, right? So Russell Brand released a video earlier, and was it earlier? Yeah, it was Russell Brand. Russell Brand released a video earlier, and he absolutely nails this on the head. And you know, I remember Russell Brand being like an absolute liberal, one of the biggest liberals you've ever seen, right? One of the biggest liberals you've ever seen. So let's watch this video of Russell Brand, and he absolutely nails something. It's towards the end of the video, but let's just watch this and let's see what Russell Brand's saying about the whole collapse of the system that we live in at the moment.
They currently have around 182,000 soldiers, but want to boost that by over 80,000 extra in the next decade. Volunteers are being offered incentives like a monthly wage of more than €2,000.
It's difficult, I think, to mobilize people into war when their nation has no real identity, when the only identity you have is your individual nature, yourself and your sexual identity or your racial identity and some other group that you might malign, either the indigenous native people or some migrant population or some different religious hue. Their system is imploding really, really quickly. People aren't going to be boots on the ground, 3 square meals a day, yes sir, or even Heil Hitler. You have to give them like €2,000 and cross your fingers that they're poor enough and desperate enough to become fodder.
Did you hear that? You've got to make them poor. Well, he didn't say poor enough. He said you've got to hope they're poor enough and desperate enough. Let me sorry.
Euros and cross your fingers that they're poor enough and desperate enough to become.
That they're poor enough. What did he say? Poor enough and desperate enough. I think poor enough and desperate enough. Poor enough
and desperate enough to become fodder for what.
So I'll let the video play.
Whatever this war is for, and for whoever benefits from it. BlackRock, Larry Fink needs you.
So what he's saying there, and he absolutely hit. So what he's saying there is, and he absolutely hit the nail on the head with that. When you make people poor and desperate, destroying small businesses, making employment virtually impossible, you know, when you make people poor and desperate, and somebody comes up and says, well, I know you're poor and you're desperate, but if you join the army, you'll get some money each month, and you know, you'll have something to do, and you won't have any bills to pay. And that's literally what I think the new conscription is. I think the new conscription is making people poor enough, making people desperate enough, and then just paying them, literally just paying them. You know, and he absolutely hit that nail on the head. Fever Pitch is saying when you have Fever Pitch is saying when you have nothing to lose. Yeah, exactly. Gas cheap around you. No, gas is not cheap. Gas is a commodity. It's the same price wherever you go. But last night when we was in here, it was absolutely freezing. Honestly, it was unbearable. So I went and got a gas bottle. I've got a little gas, well, what would you call that? What would you call that? I've got a little gas thing. So I've got some heating. I only have it on for an hour or so. Eyeball Paul is saying the people who run our country, and yes, I mean the King and William, what kind of country would they rule over when most of the population hates them? Do you know what? That's fantastic. That's a fantastic idea, because let's just play this out, right? Let's just play this out. Let's go worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. Let's just say that all the young men go away to Ukraine, right? And they don't come back. So who's left in the country? Like who would the king be ruling over? Who said that? Big B is saying I would rather join the Foreign Legion. PC RAM is a stupid price. I don't listen, guys. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. They have flooded our countries with people who will never bow to any king. Lewis Ackers is saying we should become a republic and abolish the monarchy. I never thought I would say this. I didn't. I never thought I would say this, but there's a lot of utility. There's a lot of utility. Look, if there was utility in having a king, right? If there was, like, for example, if we saw the king going into parliament and saying, stop these boats, you douchebags. We don't, like, the people don't want, stop them now, or I'm going to go batshit crazy, right? I'm going to bin you all. If we saw things like that, then clearly the monarchy, as far as I'm concerned, would be a thing. I'd be like, yeah, go on, king, show him, king. Unfortunately, like, what does he do? Like, and I'm not being negative. I'm just asking a serious question. Like, what does the king do? Like, what does why? What does he do? Can anyone answer that? Right, what else have we got? We've got, right, I've got another video here. This is from, when I watched this video, I genuinely thought this was satire. I thought this guy was taking the piss, honestly. So let me share this video. I'll let this video run through, right? I'll let this video run through. I'll then rewind it and we'll play it again. I'll try and stop it at various points. Because if this is how people think, we are absolutely cooked. We're absolutely cooked. If this is how people think, we are absolutely cooked. So the title of this video is, do true Brits need to be born in Britain? It's a serious question. Do true Brits need to be born in Britain?
Audrey Hepburn, Eliza. A new bit of research conducted by the Institute for Public Policy Research shows that more and more people believe you have to be born in the UK to be truly British. The numbers are staggering. 36% of people now think that you've got to be born in Britain to be British. Let's just consider some of the people who were not born here and who I think we ought to be able to agree are properly British. Sir Cliff Richard, he was born in India. Freddie Mercury, he was born in Zanzibar. Audrey Hepburn, Eliza Doolittle herself, she was born in Belgium. And don't forget Boris Johnson, he was born in New York City.
Okay, so let's play this again.
A new bit of research conducted by the Institute for Public Policy Research shows that more and more people believe you have to be born in the UK to be truly British. The numbers are staggering.
So what he's saying there is, obviously he's arguing, this guy's arguing the case that you don't need to be born in Britain to be British, right? That's basically what he's arguing, right? Because he gives the examples. So I'm going to flip this on its head, right? I'm going to flip this on its head. He's saying you don't need to be born in Britain to be British. I'm saying, do you need to be born in Pakistan to be a Pakistani? Do you need to be born in Bangladesh to be a Bangladeshi? Do you need to be born in Somalia to be a Somalian? So now you see the argument open up. And I'm just literally there. I'm absolutely flabbergasted at like that this guy's getting airtime. Like, how do these people get airtime? Because their arguments, their logic stands up to zero scrutiny. Like literally zero scrutiny. Obviously, Cliff Richard's mum and dad were, you know, he doesn't have an Indian mum and dad, right? You know, he's very much British.
36% of people now think that you've got to be born in Britain to be British.
And the opposite side of that is what 64% of people think that you don't have to be born in Britain to be British.
Let's just consider some of the people who were not born here and who I think we ought to be able to agree.
Right, I'm going to leave that at that. Now, I watched an interview the other day. I watched an interview the other day, and it's a guy who's on the table, and I've got the same table as him. I know that's not going to help anyone. I didn't realize, but one of the guys was Jewish, and the other guy was, there's a few of you guys, Leroy's going to love this. Leroy's going to love this here. One of the guys was Jewish, right? And the other guy was from Britain. And he was, the guy, the British guy, I don't know what his name was. He was saying, like, I want everybody that's not English or British just to go home, go back to your own countries. And then I started to think, okay, so, like, where do you, like, okay, I totally get these arguments, right? And the guy was saying, you're a Jew, you should go to Israel. And this guy was saying, well, my family's been here for 100 years, so I'm not going anywhere. And, you know, it's like, where are those windows, right? Where are those windows? I totally understand that guy's argument. He's like, right, we're at a state now where, you know, British culture's over it. And then he asked him, like, if you've done like an, and then he said, have you had a DNA test or something? He said, have you done a DNA test and seen where you're actually from? And he says, yes, I'm 98% English and 2% Irish. So I was like, well, what does that mean? Like, how can you tell? Like, what does that mean? And how is that like? And in my head, I was thinking, like, how does that how does that, like, how do you work that out? I don't know the answer to this. I don't know the answer. But I was thinking, like, you're there in a lab and you're like, right, okay, we've got some blood. Like, how do you do that? Like, where's your basis for comparison? You know, so it's very peculiar. And look, guys, I'll be quite clear. I will concede, what's his name? I will concede that Chris Eubank, I would concede and I would argue that Chris Eubank is more of an English gentleman than most. I'll argue that. Cliff Richard is a national treasure. It annoys me when Muslims claim to be English. They can't support Islam and be English, and Christianity is embedded into English culture. Prove me wrong. I don't know how I'd even address that. It annoys me when Muslims claim to be English. They can't support Islam and be English. I think they can be British, though, right? I think Muslims can be, surely Muslims can be British. I don't think so. Joe, let's ask the internet. Let's ask the internet. Right. Okay. This is what AI is telling me, right? And I know I'm going to get a lot of negativity from this. So, to be English means Being part of a nation with with shared history, language and culture, but it's complex, blending birthplace, heritage, and a fluid sense of cultural identity, often tied to community, respect, and shared traditions, like a hearty breakfast. Even as England becomes more multicultural, making Englishness a mix of common roots and modern diverse acceptance. While their shared ethnicity, history, modern Englishness, I'm not interested in modern Englishness, isn't solely about being white or Anglo-Saxon. I think the AI's gone woke on me. So it's like one of those questions, you know, like when like when you're interviewing a politician and you say, "What is a woman?" and they're like, "Oh God, why did you ask me that question?" and they can't answer. It's kind of, I think it's it's clearly subjective, right? It's clearly subjective. Jafuli Porches, hello Jafuli, with a very peculiar thumbnail, is saying British is a made-up name. If you're British, you're a no one. Only English, Welsh, Scottish, and Irish, Northern Irish, by the way, are real. Well, here's the thing, right? Like, what part of Ireland? If you're Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland, like, it's really complicated, and I totally get how complicated it is. And it's one of those things, that you kind of assume that you know what it means. But, to try and get a definition. Sean, read David O'Rourke's, bang on. Sorry. Right, let me find David O'Rourke's comment. Can somebody cut and paste David O'Rourke's comment? David O'Rourke, I don't. Right, okay. David O'Rourke is saying, I don't think we will see ORSHNIK get used on us, but I do see it being used to hit the ports in the Baltic Sea, then let migration do the rest. So it is fascinating how the mass movement of people has been weaponized, and the Russians have done this throughout their history. They really have. They have weaponized the movement of people. When you move masses of people into a region that they don't have an affinity with, they don't have that affinity because they're not from there. So they don't. They're susceptible to the government. I don't know what that means. Louis Sackers is saying Gashun Takal or something. I don't know what that means. Eyeball Paul is saying the problem people have is with the influx of migrants is changing the demographics of Britain. This is the argument. No, I get that. I totally get that. I was just, these conversations and these, I want to be able to give that definition. When somebody says to you, what is being English? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, it's very difficult. And it's like the argument where, you say to David Lammy, so David Lammy, what is a woman? And he's like, oh God, anything but that question. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream, I'm going to go over this and then I'm going to start to close this down. The crux of this live stream is England to be nuked out of their existence. Now, that's not me saying that. That's this woman. She was on the Alex Jones show. She's saying if it was her, I think she's clearly Russian. And Alex Jones looked very suave. He's saying that she's saying that if Putin gets assassinated, if somebody takes out Putin with some tea or a drone or whatever, then whoever steps in his place would be a hardliner. And a hardliner, if it was her, she would use ORSHNIK and she would nuke England out of existence. So that's what she's saying, guys. And now where I take a pinch of salt with this, what I want to just bring to the forefront of everybody's consciousness is the rhetoric in Russia. Because the Russians went, and we'll go like this as well. The Russians went, we're against this war. We don't want this war. We don't want this war. To then, yeah, if we lose this war now, we're cooked. We're cooked. If we lose this war, we are cooked. So now they have to win. And we will be in that situation very quickly. We will, guys. We're going to be in that situation very quickly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I'll probably not see you again until 2026. So I genuinely wish everyone, each and every one of you guys and your families, an absolute amazing new year. I hope you do fantastic things. I hope you achieve fantastic things. Whatever you didn't achieve in 2025, I know you guys are going to achieve it in 2026. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I will bid you good evening and a fantastic New Year's Eve.